Welcome everybody to Rob's MetalWorks. We are here at the home studio on this chilly night, and it brings me great pleasure to welcome a band that I've been following from the Austin metal scene for quite some time, and these guys just dropped a hellacious fucking heavy brutal record for all the Texas metal fans and beyond. Brings me great pleasure to welcome back to the program after many years, yes, the guys from Death of a Dream. Welcome, gentlemen.
How you doing?
Hell yeah.
Great to have you here. We're already having good times talking metal and jamming some jams here in the studio. Yeah, having a few cocktails. But so much has happened that we've been talking off camera about kind of what's transpired since the last time I've spoke with you guys. And we're going to get into your new record here in a little bit. There's people who watch our show all over the country and the world. And I don't want to take for granted that they already know about the band. So, Trey, let's kind of talk a little bit about the formation. Because I know you guys are veterans. You guys are seasoned musicians, songwriters, and have history in Austin with other bands before Death of a Dream. So talk a little bit about the formation of this band.
Well, I mean, it started with Byron actually hit me up one day because I was not playing in a band at the time. His band was kind of, or y'all's band was kind of on the way out. He's like, what are you doing musically? I was like, nothing at all. He's like, would you like to jam? I was like, of course, because Byron's an incredible drummer. I don't know, I'm supposed to look at you through the camera, but I'm going to keep talking.
Both.
And so we get together, we jam a couple times. He was like, I really want to bring in my guitar player, Sean. I think you guys' styles kind of blend together.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. So we got together. Us three jammed. And, I mean, sure as shit, he's playing a riff. I was like, did you steal that from me? Because I have a very similar riff.
Magic.
It was kind of strange that, he was like, oh, y'all sound, kind of similar. And I was like, holy shit, we do. And we just started putting some songs together, and it happened pretty quick. And
What year was that?
2014, I think, is when we first started, about 2014. And we started doing some very rough demos, and Sean and I were living together at the time, and I'm jamming it in my bedroom. And he's like, hey, is that the thing you're working on with Byron and the guy? I was like, yeah. And he was like, that's really fucking heavy. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, well, who's singing? I was like, well, I don't know. He's like, would you think maybe I can audition? We're like, yeah, we'll let you audition to be in the band.
But Sean, were you already in another band or no?
So, Course Ruin was actually ending.
So you were in Course of Ruin.
So I was in a band called Course of Ruin, and we were together for 13 years, and it was on its downward. It was on its way out. And so when I recognized that it was on its way out, and it's like I wanted to play more, I wanted to do more shit, but I wasn't sure it was going to be metal. But hearing him work on riffs across the hallway, because we lived together, across the living room, hear him working on riffs, or hear him listening to stuff they would do when they would jam together, and I was like, that sounds fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's cool, man. And, how can I get along with this guy? He's super cool. Well,
it's funny because we all kind of knew each other from the bands that we played in before. Said before, and so a lot of the times when our bands, we would literally play all different bands, but we would play shows together back in Austin. And at the end of the night, it would be us kicking it and hanging out.
Yeah, just hanging out.
And so it was just like a lot of times, drunk conversations, you realize we actually have a band right here. Just chilling out, hanging out, and talking. I was like, yeah, it'd be cool one day. And then fast forward, and here we are.
And I think that's cool. I think one of the things that the big takeaway would be like, to be part of a cool band, you have to really get along on the back end as people, not just get along musically, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you guys are like cool dudes. That's what I was telling my boy here. I was like, oh, man, you're going to love these guys. Death of a Dream. They're just cool dudes, man.
And that's one thing, and I've said it repeatedly to these guys as well as, other people that we talk to. This has been the easiest band to play in. There's no ego. We don't argue. I mean, we'll argue about a riff here and there, but that's it. We get along because we're actually like legit friends. We hang out all the time. And it's just... It's nice to find that. I mean, granted, we're a little bit older, and maybe it took a little while. And,
sure.
And maybe that's just because we matured enough to be able to do it this way.
I believe that, yeah.
But there's a ton of history with everybody and their individual projects, and then coming in to do this together. and it's been amazing. It's so much fucking fun.
I want to talk about the Austin metal scene later, but yeah, that's great, man. So you guys were. It wasn't too long after the incarnation of this band that you guys released your first EP, Birth of a Nightmare, back in late 2016. Yeah. And I remember, I can't quite recall how I got my hands on it, but I've had it for a long time. And I think,
it was me. Yeah, I was working Come and Take It Live, and you were doing an interview, and we just gotten the disc. Or I think I had a bunch of discs in my car, and it was like, hey, I know you're busy. Whenever you have time,
check out my shit.
Yeah, jam this. Let me know what you think of it. Yeah, that was me.
Okay. Thank you for the recall, because I can't. My memory as I'm getting older is not as good as it used to be. But I remember that we interviewed. I think the year after in 2017 to talk a little bit about the record, and not that I want to rehash it, but now that we're going to talk about your brand new release, Sentenced to Suffering. It just seems like this new record is like leaps and bounds ahead of what you guys initially did for many reasons. I know we were talking about production earlier, but musically too, I kind of feel like there's just been a lot of maturity in what you guys are doing. So as we kind of get into this second release, obviously we all had to deal with the pandemic. Were you guys kind of writing during the pandemic or having to deal with this record during that time frame, and how did you kind of deal with it or manage it?
I'll take it. COVID actually forced our hand. Honestly, it was kind of like a perfect storm of shit.
Yeah.
With COVID hitting, our longtime rehearsal space where we jammed was also closing its doors.
Oh God!
So we had to,
that really shuts you down.
Yeah. So we. And the band co-op, one of like by any means necessary, we were talking about earlier. Like a lot of bands that are like known in Austin got started. All in Austin, for 20, 30 years, all were rehearsed at the band co-op. This is a big deal to a lot of fucking.
And
bands.
Why did they close it down? Just because they thought it was going to be a conduit for
the owners of the actual owners of the building got bought, and they sold it to some rich asshole that wanted to turn it to condos.
Oh God!
So. Not having a
jam. You put condos in that area.
Exactly. So it was kind of like we don't have a jam space. We have no place to play. The songs actually weren't written during COVID. They were already written.
Oh, okay.
But we're procrastinators. You know what I mean? So.
Well, another thing too is that we wanted to work. Yeah. Another thing about that is that we've wanted to work with Jason Frankhauser.
Yep.
Since the first album. And so it all came together.
Who is Jason Frankhauser for those people?
Jason Frankhauser produced our record. He's totally.
Is he like an Austinite or
totally awesome guy? He's
from Austin.
Yeah, I can get you. So
here. Sean used to be in the band.
We're horrible.
Oh, okay.
So Jason actually is a long mainstay with the Austin metal scene from back in the days of Human. It was a real big metal band back late 90s, early 2000s. Also had a band called Buried in Fire, but also ran sound for a lot of places, including Stubbs. So just all around general, just knows his shit.
What's his current job?
He works for Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
He's his friend. He just got off of the road with Bob Dylan. He's his front of house sound tech. Yeah.
Wow.
So dude knows his shit, and very long time brother of ours. Want to work with him the first time. Shit didn't pan out. And
Birth of a Nightmare.
For Birth of a Nightmare, went with a total guy that we didn't know, and it didn't turn out the way that we had hoped. And so with that, we were just kind of like, let's just promote it. Let's just play. Let's earn our name off of it, and then the next go around, let's do it the way we want to do it.
Yep.
And with the pandemic, like I was saying before, we had no choice. We had no rehearsal room. We had no shows. Obviously, everything shut down.
Jason couldn't
tour. And so it was like, yo, we have money saved up from the gigs we played, and we can, if you are interested, absolutely, I want to do this. And so once he was like, yeah, let's figure some stuff out, I can make it happen if you guys say yes. And we met and was like, yes. And so he actually hooked it up where we recorded drums at Machine Shop in Dripping Springs.
Was that like still in the 20 or in 21?
20.
Was it 21?
Was it 21? No, it's 20. Because we were in the studio from August 20 to August 2021 is when it came out. So
Yeah.
So yeah, this was August 2020. We went to Dripping Springs and Machine Shop Studios.
That was kind of like in the knee deep of the pandemic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
We still had to be. Sorry.
Yeah, no, yeah.
No, I was saying, we still had to be pretty careful about,
Sure, for sure.
everything. And, but the way it was set up, we did, keep our distance from, as many people as we could. But it was just us out there anyway. Yeah. And at that time, the only people that I was seeing was these guys anyway. And I think it went the same for everybody in the band. That we were, safe enough to where we're like, let's take advantage of this downtime and get this album done finally. And it worked out.
Came out amazing. So let's go ahead and talk about, and all you people out there, the record that we're going to be focusing on for the next few moments is called Sentenced to Suffering. Came out on August 14th. Be sure to look for it in all your music outlets right now after you watch this interview and check it out and jam it. I've been listening to it. Thank you, Byron, for sending me all the final tracks. I loved it. I remember when I first heard it, I was like, oh man, this is like leaps and bounds above of what the band did before. I love it. I love the way it sounds on my stereo, the heaviness and the brutality of the songs. And Sean, you're doing a lot more clean vocal and stuff. So there's a kind of like a brand new dynamic with what Death of a Dream is delivering. You guys released kind of the first single a little while before the record dropped. Talk a little bit about Moving Targets. I love that song. Great song.
So, music or lyrically?
Both.
Both.
Let's talk about musically first.
Musically, man,
it's just a very heavy, kind of brutal band.
Our bass player came up with the main riff, and it was just we had our bass player who's not here. He's skiing right now.
Yeah.
Rich bastard. Anyway, he came in. We had a lot of melodic stuff on the EP, which is what we wanted to do. We still want to be the band with no rules. We want to go as far left as we go right. We don't give a shit. But we didn't have what we called a slammer, right? And Story had this riff, and it just kind of came to, you know what I mean? It just, we all five of us. It wasn't he came in with the whole entire song, and then like, no, all five of us sat in a room and hashed it out, and it was kind of came quick. It was one of those things like one fight riff after another fight riff, and we took a break because we kind of got stonewalled. But I mean, even still, we came back and inspired by another fight riff, and then Moving Targets came out. So lyrically,
that song was actually first written on a 6-string. If y'all remember that,
the whole second part of that, I had already done this whole thing. We brought it in, and it was just we just fed off of that, evolved the whole thing out of there, and it's just that's how we basically do it. It's just we'll all bring in our own thing, and it'll just come out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just evolve into something, whatever it turns into.
We actually wrote that song way months before and didn't ever play it because it was just written on the little whiteboard in the room, and there was one part of the song that none of us liked. So we were like, oh, we'll figure it out later. Didn't play it, left it up there, went back to it, and we're like, oh, couldn't quite figure it out. And then one day, we were there, and it just worked.
That's kind of ironic, too, because you never know, and then it turned out to be the first single.
Yeah, it was the last song we wrote and the first single, yeah.
Guys, so the first single, Moving Targets, actually has really done quite well for you guys. I remember you guys dropped the video for it. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But a lot of killer tracks on this record. We were jamming out to it right now before we started this interview. So let's talk a little bit about Sentenced to Suffering, the title, because I remember I just kind of felt like, oh man, that's so relevant right now. We talk about people's emotional well-being, and we know that a lot of people out there, we hear about people committing suicide and just giving up on life, and so many traumatic things that we hear about in our day-to-day, and it's kind of scary because it just seems that there's so many challenges all the way around, globally, locally, with our people that we know, and it's like I think people are getting tired, and we hear about that, and I know people are suffering. some more than others. So when I remember when I read the title, it really resonated with me. It really did.
Thank you. It's pretty much what it was. So that whole entire EP, lyrically, was written during the darkest point of my life. Honestly,
Feel free to share, Sean, as much as you want.
It was just like with COVID, especially. But everybody experienced a lot of loss. Everybody. I'm not saying me personally, but a lot of people suffered a lot of loss.
People dying is too.
People dying, loss of jobs, loss of vices, loss of direction. Everything shut down. The world kind of stopped. You know what I mean? And when everything's kind of taken away from you, even the shit that you took for granted, how do you process that, right? So all the songs have their own meanings, but a lot of that EP written during a very dark time of processing, a lot of anger, a lot of hopelessness, right? We don't know if what we lost is going to come back. I miss my friends, I miss my family. Regardless of whether they died or just a lot of people couldn't see their family for 2 years. You hear about trips like, I'm going to go, like, what are you doing for Christmas? I'm going to go see my family I haven't seen in 2 years that I used to see every year on the dot. You know what I mean? And so it was just like, Sentence to Suffering. It was just like, it's a grim title, but sometimes it's okay to think that sometimes you feel like you're born to suffer. You know what I mean? Because sometimes through that suffering, you become stronger, right? There's a saying that a friend of mine told me a long time ago: foundations are built only to be brought down, so you learn how to build it stronger, right? Yeah. So sometimes Sin and Suffering, it's a dark ass title, but with anything you can bring a darkness or a brightness to the dark. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, but that means a lot. They register with you. It means It worked. We didn't argue, but we definitely debated on whether or not that should be the title of the EP or not. You know what I mean? It was just, especially with the time and amount of processing, like I said, a lot of loss. Do you want to come out with something as dark as what people are legitimately feeling? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. A lot of people, before they didn't believe in mental illness and the mental struggles and shit was going on, figured it out during COVID. You know what I mean? So it's do you want to present a world that's already dark with a dark ass title? But it was like, I feel like, yes, it's dark, but I feel like it's relatable. You
got to keep it real, man. Yeah. I think people are done with the facade, and people are, our world is dark. There's lots of dark shit happening, and I think people, are done believing in pretty pictures. So
it's really part of life,
I believe
too.
that you made the right decision. Go ahead, my man.
Yeah, it's really part of life too. We are all sentenced to suffer in one way or another.
Yeah.
Throughout life, it's going to be some kind of pain or loss. And we all. That's just part of life experience. It's like it's so relatable. To everyone.
And everybody's is suffering now. Yeah. And that's what makes Nights Tonight so beautiful. That we can be here, tonight and talk about your music and celebrate and drink and jam and enjoy our brotherhood, enjoy our brotherhood together as Texas metalers and be together, man.
We're really excited to have it out finally. Be done with it. Having gotten it done and get it out there. So.
It's eternal now, brother.
Yes,
it's gonna live forever in the annals of fucking Texas metal. Fucking for sure. Oh, for sure. So the record dropped in August. It was August 14th, and was that the night of the release show? And it was part of the Dime Fest there in Austin at the Come and Take It. How did that play out?
Wonderful.
Yeah, talk a little bit about that because I saw the pictures. I was like, man, it looked like a cool show.
That show was incredible.
Yeah, talk about it.
So we originally, when we finally got the clear, Texas opened up the Babel, we can actually, go at least 75% capacity,
But but that was like y'all's first show in a long time.
That was our first show in 2 years.
Yeah. Wow.
2 years. So it was like we originally wanted it to be just our show. Let's just do a Death of a Dream show.
Headline,
whatever.
Yeah.
But at the time, since everything was starting to open back up, that's when bands were like, fuck it, we're going on the road. Do you have a date open? And so none of the dates would line up, or all the show they had left was Dime Fest. And it was like, I know you guys want to make it more about you guys, but you guys have always done Dime Fest. And it was like, you know what? Let's be real. Our very first show premiere was playing Dime Fest. No, it was 2015. 2015. We played our first show as a band, and so it was like it's only fitting. Like,
Sure.
if we'll headline Dime Fest, and if you can give us an hour rather than just the regular 30 minutes, we're down. And it was like, just do it. And it just kind of worked out. And we played with our friends, and so it was the way we wanted to. It wasn't Death of a Dreams, whatever. It was Dime Fest. It very much still was dedicated to Dime event, right?
Yeah.
But it was exactly what we wanted. We wanted to play with our closest friends. We wanted to play at our favorite place, which is Come and Take It. And we wanted to play in front of our family. And it just so happened that a shit ton of our family showed up that night and represented. It was an incredible night.
Great.
Yeah, we debuted the music video. Like, it was a video music premiere.
Y'all played the video
EP.
there at the club?
Yeah, we played it right
Oh,
before
cool.
we went on. Yeah.
Of our set was the video.
Cool. We're
video
going to segue
release.
into that in a bit.
Yeah.
Byron, you want to share anything about the show? I want to get Byron in here because... anything about that night or
It was
the
pretty
show?
awesome. We did a whole we kind of
Did y'all play songs from Birth of a Nightmare too? Okay.
too. It was the first time we really had freedom to do our own production kind of thing. So we planned out the video intro.
Yeah.
'Cause they have a screen that comes down.
And you did that.
And then there was an intro. We used the Loki theme from the Loki show. And then we showed on the screen, instead of it saying Loki, it said DOAD, and the letters would change while the song played, like the Loki theme.
Wow, cool.
Yeah, and it was cool. What's up?
As it was recorded, there's video.
Yeah, and you could see it on
YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It shows the whole thing, yeah. It's pretty cool, but yeah, that show was amazing. It felt good to be back after 2 years.
Yeah, how did that feel like after
It was
so
amazing.
long?
And then playing Pantera songs is...
Did y'all do a Pantera song?
Yeah.
Oh, of course, you had to, right?
Yeah.
Which one did you do?
Hardline Sunken Cheeks.
Oh, really? Cool. I love that song. Yeah.
Sunken Butt Cheeks. Whatever.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's cool. Have you guys done any shows this year in 2022? And I know we have some announcements to make.
No, you go ahead.
Sean's been teasing me all night about, well, Rob, we got a big announcement. So let's
So,
talk about shows
We
for
have
this
2
year.
shows coming up in March.
Okay.
March will be our first show back.
Tell
March
these people
12th.
to come out because they're gonna see this before March.
Yeah, March 12th, we'll be playing the Metal Monsters of Texas. Awesome showcase of not just awesome bands, but bands from all over the state of Texas. But
Come and Take It?
Come and Take It. March 29th, we will be opening up for Sepultura.
At Come and Take It?
Yes.
Yeah.
It'll be Sepultura, Sacred Right.
What?
with Dave
Sacred Right
McClain,
2?
Crowbar, and Aftershock. Yeah. And us.
Has that show been made public?
It's been public, yep.
I haven't even seen anything about it.
Add our name to it.
Yeah. But we just
Send me
got
the flyer
that.
as soon as you get it.
As soon as we get it, we just found out. We got confirmation yesterday.
Set, Crowbar, and who?
So it's Sepultura, Sacred Right, Crowbar, and Aftershock.
Oh, God. Shit. That's going to be a sick act.
Oh, man.
Come
On
and
a
take it,
Tuesday
guys. All you guys from Come and Take
Tuesday
It.
night.
Rob's MetalWorks is going up there.
Yep.
Show me some love.
So that's the first big news. And then the second big news is we're actually finally.
Oh, that's not the big news?
We're finally getting to play San Antonio for the very first time.
Yeah, that's the big news.
Very first time we're
Fuck
playing.
yeah, that's the big news. You'll be here for the first time in San Antonio as Death of a Dream in April.
April 2nd at Bonds.
Wow, that's going to be cool.
With our
I'll
brothers
be
in
there.
Koenigsegg. Yeah.
I will be there, my friends, and I'm going to shoot some footage, so you better throw down super hard for me.
I'm gonna do some sit-ups because I can't do push-ups. I ain't doing no backflip.
Coming to play here.
You're not on the mic.
Been talking forever about coming to play here.
Yeah.
So we're happy about that. Too.
Yeah, man, that's great. It's been challenging, and we still, right now we're still kind of seeing the remnants of the pandemic around, and I've seen so many shows, like big shows, being canceled now. So I hope and pray that nothing will derail this show in April, but it's an unpredictable, uncertain time.
Please.
We gotta enjoy it while we can.
Exactly. What else would you like to do later this year in support of this record? Because I think this record deserves as much support as you can give it.
All over Texas. We want to play all over Texas, from Lubbock to Brownswood, right next to Mexico, Brownsville, to El Paso, to whatever.
You guys ever played San Angelo?
Not in this one. No,
I keep
my
hearing
old
things
band,
about the San Angelo metal scene.
My old band, of course, Ruin, played at Penny Pub in San Angelo.
Yeah.
Dope ass place, dope ass people. It was fun show. Would love to get out there, but San Angelo, Abilene,
Odessa,
McAllen, Odessa,
yeah.
Those cities are
fuck
metalheads, man. Like,
and then they don't have guys like you guys come out all the time.
That's
so it's
what
like
I'm
when
saying.
you do come out, they're like, fuck.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't believe so much in like resolutions for New Year's, but I mean, resolution as a band is to play as many fucking places as possible. As many fucking places.
Do it, guys.
Texas.
Do it, man. Do it. Life is such a precious and fleeting thing. So, sometimes I talk to my kids, my students, and I say, man, part of life is taking risks, and sometimes you just got to go for it, and it's better to do that and than thinking back and saying, oh, I should have done that.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's kind of where we're at now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like younger. Exactly. You know what
Exactly.
I mean? Like, well, let's just do it now and apologize later. You know what I mean?
Exactly. We kind of alluded to the video for Moving Targets. I love the fucking video. It wasn't like when I love performance videos. Don't get me wrong. I always love performance videos. I love to see bands throw down because you meet someone and they're cool, but then when you see them throw down, like, oh, that's the other side of this guy, yeah. And I love to see you guys throw down. Whoever shot it did a great job in using shadows and the red. And, there was a couple of bright spots in there. Like, it was just well done. And it just kind of keeps you intrigued, even though it's just a straight performance shoot. I love the video. And then it was, like, shot, like, in 4K or whatever, like, awesome. So talk a little bit about the video.
It was Brandon Brumley. He works for Bad Mantra. He was recommended by Skylar, who's in Rain, who also works at Come and Take It Live. I guess he had shot a video for them, and it's pretty badass. But something happened when they shot their video, and the band broke up, and it didn't come out forever. And then, and then they're back together, and it's
That's how the video came out.
Yeah, but I mean, this guy is great. His video work is fantastic. So.
It's like super wide.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm. Yeah, that's.
We.
Go ahead. I got you.
Oh, he had several different lenses that he used, and so like when we met about the video, it was kind of like, "What do you want?" And it was like, "You can do a performance video, concept video." When we finally figured out performance, it was like, "Okay, well, what can we do to separate from other performance videos?" And we wanted to kind of incorporate the shit that we loved, which is like everything's through 4K, but we wanted some kind of dissonance in there. You know what I mean? Like, you think about old Corrosion of Conformity videos or fucking old school, like the 90s, right? A lot of the music videos that came out, very clear, but also very kind of what's the...
Yeah, a little distorted.
Distorted, you know what I mean? And so like, we just vibed on what we wanted with a look and things like that. And Brandon's a one-man show. One dude shot that whole entire video. Just him. Yeah. And so, like,
it was pretty intense.
He
had to do a lot of.
That was our first my first music video I've ever shot.
Like
and
legit, right?
Yeah, legit. So, like, I didn't know how much of a workout that was for me. But
I'm not gonna ask you how many takes you did.
15.
15?
15 in total.
Yeah. I think we listened to that song 32 times in a row.
Yeah.
I'm not fucking joking,
dude.
I wanted to fucking
wonder you guys don't wanna hear
smash
it
the
tonight.
song.
Exactly.
I was like, let's hear Moving Targets. Like, no, Rob.
Don't play it.
That's great, man. I love the video. I think the work ethic that you put into it paid off. Great video. All you people out there, be sure to look for the video on YouTube. It's called Moving Targets, from Death of a Dream. And guys, as we get near the end of this interview, just a couple other things. First of all, I was telling you before we started recording, I haven't been privy enough lately, especially because of the pandemic, to be up in Austin lately. I think the last time I was there was back in February of last year. And I think when we interviewed Tommy Vex. So it's been a while. We talked a lot about Come and Take It tonight, and those guys are legit. They love the music scene. They do it for all the right reasons. They know about the brotherhood and stuff like that. But holistically, when you think about, aside from Come and Take It and other components of what's happening with metal in Austin, how do you guys kind of feel about that? I know Come and Take It has become the hub, but really like
It's really almost all that's left.
really
There's a couple other places.
Flamingo. Whatever happened to Flamingo Cantina?
Lostwell, Valhalla.
Flamingo Cantina used to do metal shows.
Not anymore. It's straight reggae now.
Oh man,
it's
see?
reggae and hip hop. I mean, but it's also, I mean, 6th Street's not what it used to be.
Yeah, see that's the kind of feedback I want to know about because I don't know. So tell me about that.
So they 6th Street. There's not much. Like after Dirty Dog closed, there's no more There's no more rock or metal on 6th Street. Valhalla.
Why did Dirty Dog close?
Same thing as the co-op. Some rich asshole that owns a building. They sold it to some other richer asshole that wants to. Yeah,
They jacked their rent up some
up
ridiculous fucking amount. And
that nobody can afford. Even being on 6th Street.
same thing that happened to fucking Howick's Death Metal Pizza, though. It's right
Exactly.
next door. They had the best fucking pizza on the planet.
Yeah.
They closed down too.
They shut them down.
Yeah.
Same
Exactly.
issue.
I don't even know.
They were going to open up
exactly.
a boutique ice cream store.
Wow.
They tried. That motherfucker never even opened. They couldn't afford it. So basically, Howick's got run out for no reason at all.
And what about the? Let's talk more. We're talking about more commercial stuff. Let's talk a little bit about the bands and stuff like that. Do you see a lot of young and up and comers in the music scene?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's
Ariel, one of our closest friends.
They ain't young, though.
They're not, I mean, well, some of them are young. They're not their bass player
bass player's
Ken.
old as shit.
Yeah, their bass player Ken's old as fuck. But Ariel, amazing band. Koenigsor, another amazing band. There's a band Paula, great. We also have the Texas Metal Podcast, which showcases a lot of bands. I can't remember. So we play with
The
so many
Austin-
of the same. Austin Metal
Austin
Podcast.
Metal Podcast.
Sorry, Ryan. Austin Metal Podcast. But yeah, no, but there's, there's a lot of up and coming bands. It's just that we're now starting to kind of figure them out because COVID. I mean, COVID refreshed like everything. Everything kind of set from zero. Yeah. You know what I mean? The metal scene that was before COVID is not the metal scene that it is now.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that negatively. You know what I'm saying? But
What do you mean by that, Sean? Like, just some people just said, like, "Hey, I'm done."
people are still scared to go out.
Yeah.
People are, bands are still trying to figure out, like, bands are still recording. You know what I mean? There's a lot of bands that are still recording. There's exactly bands without practice spaces. So, I mean, bands are, we kind of had to reset from zero. We had to kind of, like, find a new place to jam, hold out, to work on music, stuff like that. So, I mean, we're figuring out. I feel like 2022 is about to be completely baller. You know what I mean? In the aspect of so much new music is about to drop in our laps. And I had to throw some sort of ebonics in here, motherfucker.
I like it.
But no, I mean, I don't think we're properly prepared for how dope 2022 is going to be. You know what I mean?
I hope so, man.
A lot of good music is about to come out. A lot of bands are about to get pushed. A lot, like... You know what I mean? Like,
a lot of bands are coming back from the dead.
Yes.
Yeah, we talked about one of them today. Yeah.
Shout out to By Any Means.
Yeah. Adam, why did you tell me? I'm upset at you. I should have been the first person to fucking know. Anyway, your picture's still on my wall, motherfucker. Yeah, but that's great, man. I have high hopes for this year, but God willing, everything will work out okay, and we'll all continue to pursue our passions and go to shows and support metal in Texas.
Absolutely. And real quick, I just want to shout out and correct something. There are other places to play, and I don't want to throw shit on them. I want to make sure that they also absolutely get the props. Lost Well, a very fucking dope-ass place to play. They are still open and kicking, as well as Valhalla for Red River in Austin.
Yeah,
so
we're talking about strictly 6th Street. There's nowhere to play down there.
Nowhere to play in 6th Street, but as far as heavy music goes, whether it's punk, hardcore, metal, whatever the fuck
Red
it
River
is.
is becoming the new place?
Well, I mean, Red River's always kind of been a place, but it focused a lot more on punk than it did metal. But there was Red Eye Fly back in the day. Elysium's still there. But we had Headhunters was a big one.
Oh, yeah, I remember the Headhunters. Yeah.
I mean, but like ever since then, they've kind of changed that. So, but yeah, Come and Take It, Lost Well, and Valhalla, the 3 places I know for a fact that welcome heavy music that are still going. You know what I mean? So I want to make sure that those dudes get their props as well.
Yeah. Great.
As my band debates.
As they debate your
We're
facts.
talking about Vinny's.
Okay.
We're like,
Okay, gentlemen, as we
like,
get to the end of this interview, I just want to give each of you an opportunity to shout out some love or thank yous or anything like that. And I want to give each of you an opportunity to do that before we end out. So, Sean, why don't you start off?
So the reason for the season, obviously, want to thank you.
Oh,
thank you, guys.
you're welcome.
Like, seriously, you've been a staple in not just San Antonio, but Austin, the state of Texas, in period. And so the fact that you've asked us to be a part of this is so fucking humbling. Like, I can't even properly put into words. So first and foremost, thank you.
You're welcome.
We cannot obviously leave here without properly giving a shout out to Killer Tone, Jason Frankhauser, as well as Brandon and Bad Mantra for the guys what they did, as well as Tony and Ben and the guys that come and take it live for the opportunities they presented us. I mean,
sure.
fuck, we're opening up for Sepultura, dudes.
For sure,
get
that's
the fuck
been
outta
great.
here.
You covered a lot of the big ones. I also do want to thank you as well. Coming into the scene and playing live, in my beginnings, back in 03, 04 at the back room and stuff like that. Rob's MetalWorks was that show that we all watched and, we looked up to, and it's like, that's where you have to get to. You have to be on that
That's
show.
the rite of passage, bro.
Right, and,
Exactly, bro.
And it took a long fucking time, but,
It takes a
made
while.
it. But as far as that, shout out to just everybody in the metal scene, the Austin metal scene especially, but everybody in the metal scene, period. There's a lot of love. That scene can be misunderstood sometimes, but this is the biggest, happiest family I've ever been a part of.
You're blessed, man.
Exactly.
All of you guys are blessed.
And a big thank you to my brothers here.
For sure.
And we're missing one. We are down a member right now. He's skiing in fucking
God.
Denver. Store, you
rich
asshole.
bastard.
Yeah, fucking bitch. But much love to Story, who couldn't be here. And but yeah, thanks, and to you, thank you.
Oh, dude, yeah. Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here on your show with you.
Thanks
to do
a lot,
this
man.
interview and to get to come here and talk about us and
Jam metal.
yes, everybody that helps support us, comes to our shows, our friends that support us, and everybody in the scene. I mean, we covered it all, man. Everybody that helps us out,
Sure, for sure.
does everything for us, and everybody that comes to support us at shows and buy our stuff, all that. Everybody, thanks to all of them. Yeah.
Guess what? I have nothing to say now. Thanks.
They covered it all.
No, for real. Obviously, thank you. I know they already said it, but it's pretty awesome.
And Byron fucking was the one that was
Yeah.
messaging me and say, Rob, we're going to do this, do that. We'll be there at this time. He and
Got
I
it.
made this happen. So thank
Hell
you,
yeah,
Byron.
man. Shit, I want to go pass this shit up. Like you said, it's a rite of passage.
It's a rite of passage. Thank you guys so much. I'm really happy to have had the opportunity to support this record. I love this record. I jam this record all the time. I think you guys are great people, and I knew that from years back. And I know that you guys love your scene. You love Austin. You love what you do. And I think the most important part that I love about Death of a Dream is that you just have very high integrity as a band. You do it for the right reasons. And, at our tenure, you only do it for the fucking right reasons.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Nobody's trying to sign a bunch of 40-year-olds,
Yeah, hey, man, it's not about that anymore. It's just about fucking going out and, and making an impact in people's lives with your music and your shows, and it's a beautiful thing. So
It's really, man, doing what we love to do
for sure,
and being in the best place I think we've all been doing it in our lives, up to this point, and having, the scene that we do and the friends and the supporters that we do is just, it's amazing for us, and it drives us too. It's inspiring to us. It really helps us, continue on, because like we'd love just being in a room jamming ourselves,
Sure.
and to be able to like share that makes it that much better.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming over. Thank you guys so much. It's been my pleasure having you here. Remember, everyone out there, remember, wherever you are watching this interview, the band is from Austin, Texas. They're called Death of a Dream. Their brand new record is called Sentenced to Suffering. Be sure to look for it right now. As soon as you watch this interview, go to your favorite music outlet and download it and jam it, because I do. You saw the band only right here on Rob's.